Okay.
It is now 5:31. I call the El Reno Air Park Authority regular meeting, August 11th, 2020. Roll call will start with Ms. Ryder.
Here.
Trustee White.
Here?
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Chairman Robinson.
Yeah.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Air Park Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the July 14, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Air Park Authority. Number two, approval of budget amendment for the fiscal year 2020-2021 ending June 30th, 2021. Number three, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending July 31st, 2020.
I make a motion we approve consent agenda 1 through 3. If no other questions.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Chairman Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Discussion items. Number four, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve change order number one in the amount of $7,103.45. Change order number two in the amount of $6,786.21. And change order number three in the amount of $698.97 for a total changed amount of $381.73 to W.L. McNatt Construction for project number I-26 T-Hangar Complex Construction, and allow Chairman Mayor to sign all documents associated thereto.
Basically, just to double check this, where's Ken at? Oh, he's over there. Adam Kent. Basically, we did some payback because of some, you don't have to go through it. Just basically because of the fire suppression, I read it all. I mean, so basically
Right.
we're looking at basically a change order. $300 something thousand, but we got some excess on the other side of it. So
Right. Difference of $381.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Chairman Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Number five, nomination and appointment of two members for the remainder 3-year term set to expire June 2022. One member, a 3-year term set to expire June 2023 to serve in the El Reno Air Park Authority Advisory Board.
I'd like to make a motion, and I got this kind of worked out where I think I can get most of these people on the other boards because some applied for multiple boards. But I want to point out, currently serving, we have 3 people currently serving. We're right in the middle of the new terminal, the new T-hangars, and everything else. I'd like to let these guys finish this deal out because they've been part of this deal the last 3 years, this process deal. Timmy, you know, you and I have gone to those meetings, Chairman Robinson. So I'd like to nominate Van Perkins for the 2023, Justin Deal for the 2022, and Jerry Fletcher for the 2022. And then there's some other people that filed. I'll show you. I think I can fit some of the, not everybody on most of the other boards that they've applied for.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I second you.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Chairman Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You bet. It is now 5:36. I call the El Reno Recreational Authority regular meeting, August 11th, 2020. Roll call will start with Ms. Ryder.
Here.
Trustee Robinson.
Here.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Approval of minutes of the July 14, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Recreational Authority. And number 2, approval of budget amendment for the fiscal year 2020-21 ending June 30th, 2021.
Motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yeah.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Ballhorn?
Yes.
Chairman,
Did you want,
Yeah, I think we need to talk about some things, if you don't mind, just a couple of things while we're on the Recreation Authority. Kent, we had some issues I saw with some of the mowing and stuff. Of course, I do want to state a lot of stuff, we've had record number of rains in times that we didn't think we had them, so we're kind of behind on some things. We've had staffing issues as far as that goes. We just got some of our inmates back just about 30 days ago, 45 days ago. So we're trying to work through those, but I had I said some golfers kind of complained about it a little bit, and I saw some stuff on Facebook, and Bob brought it to my attention too, and people were mentioning it to us. I know we gotta get staff issues out there, and I'm okay with that to a certain degree. Can we look at, I know last year, we adjusted, when I was acting city manager a year ago, I adjusted some, of the pay, of the payments.
The rates?
The rates that we had, I guess, and it was different. It was Sundell, I brought it to the council. It's something that we kind of went over. Matt, I think you and I were involved in that. We kind of raised them up and adjusted that to kind of fit, kind of other surrounding cities. We've done the water rates, and all the water rates, and we're going to discuss all that tonight with our bond council stuff, is going to go to fix, our water system. It goes directly to that. It's not going to salaries or anything else, like we all agreed upon, besides Jacqueline, weren't here then. But the bottom line is, I think we need to look at that golf course, and we need to raise some rates out there and see what the expectations are out there to see if it matches what the price is. Does that make sense? I mean, if we want to have a lower price, then maybe the expectations need to be lower, or if we need to have higher expectations, some of them want that thing to look like Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club. Now, I assume we can do that if they want to pay $12,000 a month membership. We don't have memberships, they can't do that, and I don't think they want to in the first place.
Right.
But I think we need to look at that, and if we can bring analysis back to us, to look at that and see where the rates are, where we're competitive at, and then, I think Bob and I just kind of had the discussions out there. We're just kind of concerned with, if they're concerned with something, we want to address it, but we need to make sure that we're on the same page, that we're, for the citizens of El Reno, that we're spending the whole thing right, that we need to make sure everybody's paying the right way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and that's something I think, we're a little challenged in these times, but one of the things I wanted to do was kind of make all those comparisons of our fees for you guys to look at, but at the same time try to look at our internal policies out there, some of the rules that we have on the golf course. What are we offering a product that the citizens of El Reno deserve? It's their investment, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of that investment, and it's not just for one group or another group. It belongs to all of us. All of us may not play golf, but it is an investment. It's quality of life for the citizens, and I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can out there. So we'll look around and we'll bring that information back to you guys on our fees and everything. They've done a lot of work in 5 years.
And to be honest with you, I think Bob and I are both big on this, because we both go to them. But I do think that we need to bring it back to the recreational authority first.
Right,
and those guys look at those a little bit and kind of go to them. Bob will go to the meetings like we had in the past, but then we'll come back to council for final approval. But I think the recreational authority needs to look at it, see where they're at.
Right, and you have, soon you'll be replacing or appointing some new ones, and
Absolutely.
because of what's going on, since I've taken over, haven't had an opportunity to meet with the rec authority.
Right.
Because it's just
Sure.
everything going on. So once you make those new appointees, we'll set up some meetings with them and get some guidance from them and what their thoughts and ideas are, and bring all of that back to you guys.
Just for the record, you all are referring to the recreational authority. That's the body you are, so you're talking about the advisory.
The advisory board, excuse me.
Okay.
I apologize.
Yes.
The advisory board,
We all know what
sorry.
we're talking about, Roger. Not everybody's just a big stickler for the law.
Advisory
You
board,
want the
yes,
record
Roger.
to reflect the correct body.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah.
And it is a direct reflect on the city, I mean, as well, and the residents have got a lot involved in this, and so
Right.
that's one of the
They've
reasons
got a big
that I want-
investment out there, and we want to take care of that
Because
investment.
honestly, I'm gonna tell you, at some point in time, I don't wanna think, and since we're talking about this real quick, you know, that lake has absolutely taken off. I don't know if you all have not, I mean, people of other communities have found Lake El Reno, guys.
Yep.
And El Reno Lake is, I go out there all the time, and it is packed. And we've got more trash out there, we're trying to keep up with demand. But you know, at some point in time, the lake and the golf course, you know, there's so much, in the past, there's been so much division on
They have to
one side or the
commingle.
other. You know, we, as a recreational authority, a body that has this, and we have some things we'll discuss later on, next coming up with some funds, you know, we can direct that towards both those facilities and maybe try to bridge some gaps on both sides of that to make sure that works from both sides. Because really, the lake and the golf course, in my opinion, go hand in hand.
They have
Does that
to-
make
they
sense?
have
I
to
mean, it's an option.
commingle, yes.
To where kids can go up there and putt on the putting green, and they can go up there and drive, and.
Yeah, you don't
and
have to,
ride.
you don't have to be an annual pass holder. There's things you can do right there as anyone, walk on and putt. You can go to the driving range and those, our restructuring of our staff in early this year has helped with that now, with the Parks and Recreation Director working more closely with the golf course staff. We're trying to merge into that more of a recreation area out there and still pay good attention to the golf course, the other areas that you as the council have invested money in.
Sure.
Sand volleyball courts, I had no idea that was gonna blow up like it has, but it has, and
done
we're
great.
glad. That's a
It's done
great thing.
And I'm gonna tell you those lights, who donated those lights, who was that?
We know who that was.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was just the polls, though.
The post.
It was the post.
But I'm gonna tell you right now.
No, there's a good
It's
idea.
been a big hit.
It has been.
Yes, it has.
It was packed last night, late last night, it was
And
packed.
Kent and I, we'll talk about more projects, and we'll talk about later on, but that's where we are. Kent, thank you, and everybody's done a great job.
You bet.
But they brought it up on Facebook, and I wanna make sure that I was kinda shocked, cause I thought everything was kinda going good, and then I talked to some people, everybody's like, well, what's the best it's ever looked? And I talked to some people, well, no, it's been underwater, you know, we need to know what the expectations are, and then if that's the bar, then we need to set that bar, and that needs to be able to what they pay for and what we provide. I mean, it's a simple fact. you know?
Well, there's a lot of grass in El Reno that the water did a bunch of stuff to, so.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Kent. Motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Have them first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's now 5:45. I now call the El Reno Hospital Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, August 11th, 2020 to order. We'll go on with roll call. Start with Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yeah.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Chairman White.
Yes. All right, move to consent agenda. Consent agenda, the following item be considered routine by the El Reno City Hospital Authority. It'll be enacted one motion. Should discussion be desired of that item or any item, that item will be removed from consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the July 14th, 2020 regular meeting of the City of El Reno, City of El Reno Hospital Authority. Number two, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning July the 1st, 2020, and ending July 30th, 2020.
Make a motion, we approve.
I have a motion with consent agenda.
Second.
I got a second. Roll call vote start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes. Number D. Number three, discussion consideration possible action to enter into an agreement with Pafford EMS for dispatch operation space with the El Reno Police Department facility, and authorize the city manager and the police chief to negotiate the detailed arrangement and the agreement and sign all documents associated thereto.
That's exciting.
Huh?
That's exciting.
It is exciting, Chief.
Is that-
Basically, what we want to do is, we were approached, come on up, Chief. We were approached by Pafford and Associates to basically, come out and maybe help with some of the dispatching with other communities and whatever else. So they want to, have an area there that their dispatching equipment and everything else fits in order to do that. We're not gonna be out any cost for the dispatching equipment or anything else. we're just going to lease them an office space, which was Melody's office space, we moved up top.
That's correct.
And we have it, it's segregated from our EMS office area, but there's a window in between there, so there could be some communication back and forth, but as far as segregation, it's two separate units.
That's correct, sir.
Chief Brown and I and Matt, we've been talking to ACOG and everything else. This could be an opportunity for us, as we build the other building out there at Mercy, and which Kent will do that soon with the approval of all that. The bids get back on the EMS building out there at the hospital. And this could open up something where we can do this other communities and basically get reimbursement funds for that at that point in time.
That's correct, sir.
So at this point in time, all we're doing is just leasing them a spot in order for them to set up shop.
That's correct, sir.
But I will tell you, our alternative motive to the whole process is if we could do a central dispatch and receive more funds to help cover some of the cost of our dispatching, then we want to do that. And I think it's one of those things, it's a smart move for us. It'll help us take over an area that we really want to and need to take over. That will really, help us at that point in time and control that situation more for our services, whether it be fire, that overlap the areas that we basically have mutual aid with.
That's correct.
Is all that correct?
Yes, sir.
So the bottom line is, right now, we're giving Matt and Chief Brown the authority to enter into agreement to lease a little small office space out for them to run their deal. But I think the ultimate deal is to do the research and head that direction, bring a proposal back as soon as we get all of our ducks in line. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you got plenty of room and won't be crowding y'all or anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And basically, if you recall, the dispatch center, we had an office space. It's directly behind it.
Right.
It was our communications advisor's office, who's now my secretary. So we have the space. They actually told us that when they came out and looked at it, that what the space that we're offering or that we'd have available to them is actually bigger and nicer than what they're working out of now. One of the things I really stressed hard is El Reno took Packard in initially, and they consider El Reno as being the hub for the state of Oklahoma, and they've really expanded after we
And we've helped them get a lot.
after we brought them in. So I think in the long run, it'll benefit us.
Yeah.
Around the country, it's going to that regional dispatch. That's kind of the trend of happening, and that potentially would offer some additional opportunities as far as funding, federal fundings and some other things that would come down the line.
We federal and state funding on that side of it, and that can be based on our coverage and whatever else, so we'll have to acknowledge that.
Right.
Good. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we give approval to City Manager Sandage
Second.
and Chief Brown to negotiate and sign a contract with Packard in the spot that they want.
Second.
I got a motion and a second by Ryder. Roll call vote, start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes?
Chairman White.
Yes. Okay, Lindsay, I'm going to switch. A motion for adjournment?
Adjournment.
I got a motion by Bob,
Second.
second by Ryder. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, Lindsay, group, I'm going to switch. Timmy, I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to the El Reno City Council meeting because I think our bond council stuff here, I want to get some of this done. It'll help us address some of the questions that we want to answer. Alan, if you don't mind. And then we'll go back because we only have 2 items or 3 items in the authority. I'm sorry, 4 items. That make sense? Okay. And then don't forget, I'm going to switch 6 here. 7.
Where is 6?
Paper in front of you.
Or 7 and 8. Okay, 7 and 8. All right, here we go. It's now 5:51, and I call the El Reno City Council to order. Would you all mind, Roger, would you mind, do we have anybody here from the Ministerial Alliance? Okay, Roger, would you mind reading us the word?
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we pause on this beautiful sunny day to be thankful. Thankful for our rights as Americans and rights as Oklahomans. Today we're also thankful for these men and women who give up their time to be about the business of governing our city. We thank you for our city employees, for our first responders, and most certainly for our citizens. We ask your continued guidance on our community and our state and our nation, and pray that all will be able to return safely here next month. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the flag salute. I
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll start with roll call vote. Start with Councilman Robinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Councilwoman Smith.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Here. We'll move on to new business deletion of contentious agenda at the time. Are there any? If not, we'll move on to consent agenda. The following items will be considered routine by the El Reno City Council. We enact one motion. Should discussion be desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The city manager recommends we approve with one motion, approval of minutes. Number one, approval of minutes of July 14, 2020, regular meeting of the El Reno City Council. Number two, approval of minutes of July 23rd, 2020, special meeting of the City Council. Number three, approval of resolution 21-007, a resolution adopting supplement number 13 of the 2014 code of the City of El Reno, dated April 2020. Approve of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2019 to 20, ending June 30th, 2020, and approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2020-21, ending June 30th, 2021, and approval of claims requiring council authorization for the period beginning July 1st, 2020, ending July 31st, 2020. If I had to say 2020 one more time.
I'd like to pull three.
Like to pull three? Anybody else? All right. Do I have a motion to approve 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6?
So moved.
I got a motion. I got a second by Robinson. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. All right.
Number three,
Number three.
explain that. What do you,
Basically, every 6 months, we update the book of codes, so we don't have to do it once a year.
All the
So-
ordinances you approve in a 6-month period,
right,
they just supplement into the code.
okay,
So like if we did an ordinance like tonight, we're gonna do one alcohol or whatever else.
correct.
So it'll be updated in the supplement.
Next 6 months.
The next 6 months, so it's all kind of programmed in there, so she keeps it up to date.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what that was.
When we lost Lindsay, when Lindsay decided to leave us and go to Mustang, because she thought the grass was a lot greener, she didn't love anybody up here. She didn't have near as much proficiency up here, but when she came back, she had to catch all that up, so now she does it real methodically and does what Lindsay does and keeps care of the records and does a great job with it.
And this updates the online code, it updates the paper code,
Paper
all of
code,
it,
everything.
so.
Just make sure everything's online, or everything updated,
Yep.
Okay,
so we don't have to do it.
make a motion
come
we
back
approve.
Years later. Motion approval?
I did.
I know. Do we have a second? Robinson?
Yes.
Roll call vote start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. All right, item participation per COVID-19 regulations. This item be temporary adjusted to accommodate the situation at hand. If you wish to participate, please contact the city clerk by noon on July 14th, 2020 at 405-295-9310 or at Lindsay Grigg at cityofellreno.com and provide your name, phone number, and email, which you can discuss what item you want to discuss. If this item is not on the agenda, please provide a brief description of the topic. You may participate by teleconference or in person. You are not required, or you are requested to limit your presentation to a 3-minute presentation. Any item being presented must pertain to the City of El Reno business. Lindsay, we have anybody that called in?
No one called in.
Okay. Anybody want to have any audience participation? Anyone? Anyone? All right, we'll move on. We're going to discussion items. So, Matt, we want to do 8 first.
8 first and
And
7.
then 7.
Yes.
So I'm going to switch around here. You guys don't let me get off track here, Roger.
We'll be all right.
Okay. So we'll do 8 first. Discussion, consideration, of possible action with request to resolution number 21-009, a resolution of the City Council of the City of El Reno, Oklahoma, the city, providing the incurrence of indebtedness to the El Reno Municipal Authority, the authority, issuing its sales tax revenue note, Series 2020, the note, providing that the organizational documents creating an authority is subject to provisions of the note indenture, authorizing insurance of said note, waiving competitive bid process with respect of sale and said note, and approving the proceeds to the authority pertaining to the sale of said note, ratifying and confirming a sales tax agreement by and between the city of El Reno, the city, and the authority pertaining to a year-to-year pledge of certain sales tax revenues and containing other provisions related thereto. Okay, so basically, that's a lot of language there that covers what we're trying to discuss. So, number 7, I'm going to kind of go in it because I'm probably going to go back and forth. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding budget reduction measures for the city of El Reno, Oklahoma. These kind of go hand in hand, and if you remember my last council meeting, I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page and kind of the steps I felt like we had to take in order to move forward and everything else. And you all voted unanimously to give me authority to Matt and myself to go out and instruct Alan and Nate and Gander to go out and basically get the information to see what the rates would be if we could go out and sell some bonds based on what our current status is. Now, how do we get there? Basically, we've been working on this for about a year. So we get together and we make sure where we're levied at and what we can do. And we have some handouts if you want them, but the bottom line is I can answer all the questions. Basically, we have notes coming off. So it will be a wash, basically, at the end of the series of the 10 years, so of the increase of what we're trying to do. So we can basically borrow $10 million right now and basically have that $10 million to use for infrastructure projects only, and that be designated. I'll go over some of those, kind of how we did that and what we did. And basically, as the notes come off, the payments come off, so we're steady. We're right, basically, Marcia, Chris, because Chris, you're our financial advisor, we're right there to where basically it's a wash at the end result, not much difference at all, of the payments of what we're making right now. So we're not really incurring anymore. My concern was the rate, what rate we came out, and like I explained to you all, we've been working with this for a while. They were a little jumpy, Nate. We were a little nervous about sometimes what we were going to do here and there. So we decided to put them out, and pleasantly, more than pleasantly surprised, we came back with a rate, 2.2% rate on $2 million. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's you can't beat that. And also, Alan, that also includes a provision, Chris, we've done this in the past because it's concerning, and I want to make sure we do this, Bob. It's something that you and I have discussed, and I brought you in because the Vice Mayor will make sure you understood everything. The main thing is that we have, as I've been mayor, we've tried to pay things off if we have money incurred and whatever else at times. So we pay the golf course off, Roger, early and everything else. So in this term, though, basically 5 years past that, we won't be any penalties at all if we want to do early payout. Now, we don't foresee that right now.
Sure.
Because of the funds, but if something does happen or whatever else, we want to always have that clause in there, and that was our concern. So our main thing is that we want to put a group of projects together. So, Timmy, you're kind of the only one that got left out because of the COVID. Your ward meeting did not take place.
Yeah.
So we have to reschedule your ward meeting in order to get that, so we can get the citizens in your area. But we had to describe basically certain projects throughout that covered everything. So as we were going over all the ward meeting packets, everything else, and all the discussions from all of the wards that we met, basically it lists out, what the concerns are, what the direction the city is, and a lot of it was sidewalks, roadways, facilities, drainage, different, of course, the lake facility, different areas of town that want to be upgraded and things like that. And then also, we know we needed some equipment. So what we did was, Mr. Brooks, we came together, Matt, Sandage, myself, and Kim McGauley, and you. We worked on the projects that we gained all from these board meetings that we had of kind of how we want to lay that out. So basically, we did $1,500,000 in drainage retention, and that includes matching funds over various locations. So we can use the CBGB money that we've been doing on the drainage work for matching funds of that, or we can do some of those drainage projects ourselves. And then we have another $3,600,000 in different projects, and then we have commitments on some of those. Some of those being Country Club Road, I-40 bridge that we have coming up from the state that we are committed on to widen that bridge out and do that. So We have that project set at $1 million, because we don't, that was a commitment from that at that point in time. And then we also have the roundabout, various overlays, Elm Street from Country Club and Elm Street to Reno, all sidewalks. That would tie all sidewalks in from that area all the way up to Walmart, you know. So that total is the $3,600,000 involved in those projects. Once again, they're all in this, what we've done here. And then upgrade the facilities, the Northwest Community Center, Bob, you know, we have that in there, and then we have parks. We know we want to do some more volleyball courts, some more playground equipment, some more structures, some more things that we need to discuss that we haven't done, that they go over. There's some baseball fields in here, there's some walking trails, and some other things that they want to do, and that will include that. That's about $850,000. And then capital equipment. The one thing that we know we're going to need, we have the plans currently right now, Matt, for the new Love's Tire Center.
Yep.
And it's basically, how many square feet? 80,000?
It's about 130,000 square feet.
130,000 is not the upgrade, 130,000 square feet. That's gonna be inside city limits. That's kind of a new business we're going to do. We've been working on it we've been working on it for about a year.
Yeah.
And we finally are going to release dirt work this week and go forward with that. That's gonna be a big deal. That's some of the things we've been discussing that will help us with our sales tax and some other things big time. But in order to do that, because of that and the hotels and downtown, we need to have a new ladder truck, a 100-foot platform truck. And that was part of our process that we were gonna have, so that's, you know, that alone's $1.1 million or $1.2 million. Then we have other police units we wanna buy, and other public work equipment, like a grade all to do the ditches that we haven't been able to clean out and stuff, because we don't have a grade all, and all that, so that totally adds up to $2 million. And then we have upgraded water and sewer structure. We're going to put $100,000 in there, Alan. And the reason why, Chris, is because we had the increase for the citizens on the water rates, and we're going to designate that money, and the council has as a whole to upgrade the water. All that money's going back into upgrade water and everything else. So we're doing that to upgrade water, so we won't need as much money in that area, we don't think. But that'll help us with that. And then upgrade IT was $300,000. We have some radios, some equipment that we have coming up with IT. IT covers a lot of things anymore, everything we do. So that's $300,000. And then miscellaneous is $1,650,000. And that goes in public safety capital, where there could be couple police cars. It could be a facility. It could be anything we want to. Kind of gives us some general aid. Some leeway, Alan, I guess, that we can do one way or the other. It has to be spent on public use only, which we're going to, and then public works facilities and equipment, which is another one we could, basically, if we had to use some for water, we could do that, and some of the other ones. And then various facility upgrades, which could be bathrooms or whatever else we want to do that time, and that's a total of $1,600,000. So you add all that up, and basically with the fees and everything else we gotta go out and do, pay to the banks and get everything all going, that totals $2 million. And basically what that has done, we've set out kind of what we've done with the citizens. Saying that does not go to salaries. We're taking advantage of a low rate to handle some of the capital improvements that we've taken out at this point in time. They've worked very hard. I'm very impressed with Alan and Nate and Chris from who they contacted. We had local banks that we had backed up to make sure they'd help. The local banks absolutely stepped in because we weren't for sure the financial situation we were. They came back. Chris, they were very happy the way the city of Reno was ran the last several years. They were very happy with the way the debt service has been paid off. And the net debt ratio, we're right in line with everything else. There shouldn't be any questions as far as the payments or anything else, because even with the benchmarks we're making with the budget we set, $700,000, we're meeting that budget currently. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, saying that, let me get these out of the question, because now that goes into my plan for the furloughs. Okay, any questions on the bonds? Did that cover everything? So that'll put us to work.
And that is all of it, most of that is all based off of what the citizens came to the ward meetings and requested. That's what they wanted to see happen.
And that's exactly what it was.
It's not just us picking it out.
No. We took what they did in the wards. Like I said, the only one that did not have a ward meeting was Councilman Robinson, and it was canceled based on the cut.
Right.
And Timmy will have one for you, quickly. Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions? Well, guys, we've done a lot of I've done a lot of these with you guys. This ain't my first rodeo night. You're gonna have me sign all those documents in a little bit. But, I'm pretty proud of this one. This shows, that we've been good stewards of money over the years. They trust us, the bank trusts us. It's BTT, we've done business with them before. They're confident of us. It's a national company. We were scared that nobody nationally would be a player in it just because of the market,
The way times
So 2.2% interest is unbelievable. So that'll help us a lot. So if no other questions, let's go ahead and make a motion to approve and give me the authority to sign all documents associated there too.
So moved?
I got a motion.
Second?
I got a second. Roll call start with Robinson.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes.
Number 7.
Now we're gonna go to 7. So basically, here's my plan, being a financial guru that we have been. Basically, what we wanna do is we wanna lay everything out for you to make sure that we can do this. We're not real happy with the sales tax like we would like to be. The sales tax came in, let me just start off. So I wanna make some benchmarks. So number 1 is the FEMA. And as of this last week, Matt, between myself, Amy Smith done a tremendous job, and Karen, we've got everything pretty well in, Marcia, and it's all been approved by the state. And what it is, it's a push to be done. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, we pushed to close it out.
It's pushed to close out, and that is $1,800,000.
For the FEMA.
That's for the FEMA, that's for the tornadoes we've had and everything else. So we've got that cleared from the state, it's in the hole. We have talked to the federal side. Matter of fact, we're expecting an $80-something thousand check here next couple of days. So we got it yet, Marcia?
No.
You haven't got it yet? Okay. So it should start coming in.
That's right.
Why is that important? It's because we finally closed those projects out, been a year and a half out. So they're all completely closed out. They're in the hole, they owe us some money. And we can use that for our emergency fund that we have to build back up, that we're getting ready to dip into.
Right.
So, the other one would be the carry forward. We're right at, I think, $1.9 million, is that right, Marcia?
Right.
We're right at $1,900,000 carry forward. So that gives us enough carry forward at one point in time to go forward. So that helps us allow a lot for the furloughs to help get some of that out. It's not a windfall, it's basically adjustment of what we're doing, and we still have projects to finish out. And we're gonna dip into some of that on both sides of the project and payroll. But the bottom line is we feel that we have enough substantial money coming back on the 1.9. Then the other one I wanted to make sure of that we did not do last month because we didn't meet the benchmark, but I basically presented you all a budget as acting city manager, and my budget was proposed at $700,000 at the low end, and we received $708,000. So like I told you, if we exceeded that, that made me at least have some benchmarks where we're at. Our use tax was set at $84,000. I'm sorry, $83,000, and we received $84,000. So it's not like we went way over. We went $9,000 over
But we're maintaining.
over $800,000. So you're a little under 1%. But the bottom line is, we do see an upward trend, and with the other things happening and the rates lowered, everything else they did, we feel confident now.
Right.
And then the other one is the 2.2 million, or I'm sorry, the 2.2% bonds that we got received, which was great news at that point in time, that would allow us to stay within that pay rate that we're currently in right now with that lower interest rate. Saying that, I would like to direct Mr. Sandage to come off furloughs as quick as we can, as quick as tomorrow, and do this. Now here's where I'm gonna say my stuff like I did last time, and if someone comes up and a disgruntled employee, I'll catch them again because I've always been up front. We've always been exactly what we're doing and tell you exactly how it's coming. I am concerned, Mr. Sandage is concerned, Ms. Leck is concerned, that we are absolutely going to have to, if it stays on the current deal, the 700 in that frame, we are going to have to make some adjustments in mid-year around January. Now, saying that, we might have to change the way we do business. We might have to choose to have less firemen, less policemen, less workers, because we have to maintain the citizens of what we have. We can't do that at a furlough level for a long period of time. So we've done that. We've cut costs. We're going to wait and take a chance to see what we have. We've had these in place right now to do that. But at that point in time, we might have to make some decisions, management-wise, and I want you to be aware of that. So it's one of those things that don't come up here and say, well, you know, why did you not let the furloughs go? There's nothing you can do at this point in time. We have to let it roll the way it rolls. We've done everything financially, fiscal that we've done and checked every box that we can. If it goes on to January and it's the same story where we're at right now, then we need to make adjustments. And everybody needs to be aware of that up front. It's not a, he got you, she got you deal. I'm just telling you, this budget is exactly what I presented to you. When you're right on, I'm right there. So I feel confident about that, but I need to make sure that it's said. Marcia, do you agree? I agree. Matt?
Yep, I agree.
So we just want to make sure that that goes out there, that we're not trying to scare anybody, that we're not trying to do anything, but we want to make sure that everybody's aware that we might have to make some decisions to change the way we do business. We might have to, you know, change the way the structure are. You see, you know, the call times are the same and some other things. So we'll make sure we do that. But I think we need to get off the furloughs now because we have met the benchmarks that I've set out 4 months ago.
That's right.
Is that right, Matt?
That's right.
So, I mean, we've set these out. They all came in right where we wanted to. Some better than others, some barely than others, but we have made them. Any questions? I make a motion that we direct Mr. Sandage as acting city, or as the city manager, to get these employees off the furloughs.
I do have a question.
Okay, hang on, I already made the motion. I'm gonna let you ask your question. I make the motion to directly to do to get the employees off the furloughs immediately. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I got a second. Now go ahead.
My question is, while I agree with bringing the employees off of furlough, my question is the comfort of the financial people and the city manager of what happens if this 708 goes down to 699. How long can that go on before it may start happening again instead of waiting till January if there's not a cushion there for the fluctuation of the increase?
Well, you have a cushion there, and you voted on it. Basically, what it is, Tracy, I'll have to kind of make sure that we're on the same page here. You know, you have we had the $5 million set aside for the emergency fund. So it's in the general fund right now, currently in the budget that you approved. You approved that. Hang on, let me make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay.
So once you approve that, you're going through that fund as it comes up, and that's what you did when you voted for that in the first place. The $500,000 or the $5 million was in the budget as that currently goes. So it was already budgeted for eating that up.
Right.
What we're trying to tell you is by January that'll be down to about $2 million, probably $300,000. Those are rough numbers depending on what the buyback, and there's contracts involved in that and everything else. It's just like right now, this month we went over our amount collected on what we paid out because we had to pay insurance and everything else to start that out. Now saying that, we always have to go over the first month, so it's eating our carryover to do that in order to do that, so it will go back down after we made those initial payments. Is that correct? So the bottom line is, you've already approved the $5 million, so you're in that $5 million, and yes, that $5 million is a general fund, and if we went through the whole year without that, then if they don't meet that standard, you'll dig into that $5 million. If not, then we should not dig into that $5 million if it goes below that.
Right, and that's what I'm asking because
If it goes, but I don't know, once again, if it was $3,000 less last month than it was budgeted, we're right on target for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can go by. If it dips down to where it's $500,000, then we're gonna have a meeting and discuss it. But if it's in that range of higher or lower $30,000, then it's gonna be a slower bleed.
So this is going to be something that has to be looked at every month.
Absolutely.
And not wait until we're dipping into,
We look at it every month.
Yeah.
Every time you approve everything, and you've already approved budget amendments on these other ones.
Right.
So you approve those every month currently right now.
yeah.
So when you approve those, you're doing that every month.
Mm-hmm.
And when you approve those budget amendments, they go back to your deal, Marcia, in order to take it out of the payables. Is that correct? So at that point in time, we're adjusting that budget the whole time. The budget is adjusted the whole time. We've done it like that for years. You personally have done it like that for years.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't changed. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I'm just making sure, was checking the.
Yeah, and I think something else that's important to remember is the furloughs, that was just one piece of our budget reductions measures.
Right.
We've got the layoffs, but the hiring freeze as well. And then our spending freeze / just monitoring every dime we spend.
But let's talk about that, Matt. But let's talk about that. Now, the bottom line is, we're still on the hiring freeze, and we're still on that. Now, we have some positions like a dispatcher that has gone that we're going to replace. It's not a new position at that point in time. Now, saying that, we're trying to keep up from what it is. We have a different plan. If we had a fire, like Mr. Shrum retired, we do not have an idea to replace Mr. Shrum right now at this point in time at all. And we have to get through negotiations, see where we're at, because we got to see what direction Chief Duff wants to go on that direction. You know, we could hire 3 other police officers for what we paid the one. So those are things that we have to adjust. Is that right, Matt?
That's right.
And we have to look at that and see, do we hire one at that point in time, you know, and not promote? Because all promotions are froze, everything's froze at this point in time, and we're still not doing any of that. We're not doing sellback based on the contract or anything else. All that doesn't take or trigger until December. Is that correct?
Yes. Well,
So what is
Per contract.
per union contracts, we are doing the testing for promotions. That's right. Chief Brown? Promotions are still in the contract per the testing for,
Yes, but again, we have no positions to do.
okay.
No, I was
Okay.
gonna say,
Okay.
we're at a stopping point
Yeah.
at this point in time, and then basically,
Okay.
on the contract side, we don't do anything until the buyback sale is in December. Now, the buyback sale, Marcia, we're concerned with, because it's a big number with both unions. But that's something we have to discuss at that point in time and discuss. That number will adjust and come out of that $5 million at that point in time.
So what is the amount that needs to be in the sales tax revenue to start reestablishing the laid off employees? What amount?
Well, that's a trick question we can't answer. So, I mean, you're saying amount by all the employees done, we haven't looked at it that way, because we might not ever bring some of those employees back or some of those departments back that we had before. I think our initial deal is to figure out what was. We have looked, there is 4 key positions that we wanted to focus on that we could hire back. And the number we came up with was $740,000 per budget mark. We had not met that number. So we're not even gonna hire those 4 positions back, not back, 4 positions that we would like, they are hiring back.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you which one, one of them is the dog catcher. We have 1 dog catcher, and we didn't have inmates for a long time. We finally got inmates to help us, but Mike is getting beat all to pieces. And, I mean, for a town of 20,000 people, 1 dog catcher is pretty tough. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but yeah, I mean, even a part-time, if we get a part-time at that point in time. But the bottom line is, we have not reached that goal at this point in time. And
That's what I was asking, that's what I was looking for.
So it hadn't been, you're not benchmarked, you're not
Right.
number 5. I'm just saying.
Right,
forward.
no.
I'm just saying, we haven't looked at
understand.
that. So we are not, like Mr. Sanders just told you, we're not hiring anything back.
Right.
And we have to come out of this budget slowly and methodically. We can't just start doing everything at once.
No. And basically, this is a startup to where it gives us time to understand what's coming in. And Marcia, it gets past the time, the first month with all the payments coming out. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting hit right now because of all the renewals that we normally have. They're all hitting us in this time. So our money going out is a lot more budgeted than the $700,000 because we have $300,000 for insurance because of our employees. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Any other questions?
Not for me.
I got a motion and a second to take the employees off furlough. I think we have a solid plan. I think we all worked hard on that. I think we're trying to do the right thing. We are doing the right thing, and it is a fluid situation. We'll absolutely look at this again. And I think the decisions, all the decisions will have to be made at the first of the year, because that'll give us time to understand what's going on. Okay, roll call vote, start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Oh, yeah. All right, we'll move on to 9. Conduct a public hearing. Consider request by Monty and Sheila Reno to reclassify zoning district a parcel of rural agriculture A1 to residential RE estates at 4710 South Country Club Road, a tract approximately 3.397 acres within the northwest quarter, northwest 4, section 30, township 12, north range 7, west of Indian Meridian, in Canadian County, Oklahoma. I now consider the public hearing open. Okay, basically this is a rezone. The only question I had, and it went to planning commission, no problems, they did it. They're going from agricultural to RE.
Yes.
And I don't know why, and I don't care, it doesn't matter, it fits within that across the street. But back behind them, all that's zoned industrial.
That actually is not all. There is some industrial zone to the north of it, but directly to the west of
The
it,
vast land I looked at was zoned industrial.
the land directly to the west of this tract is zoned A1, which is why the
got
tract there. The tract to the north, that 40 acres there, is zoned RE, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure when that happened, but it's been RE. And if you look at the next slide, you can look at the 2040 future land use map, which is
saw
the
that part.
center fold of your plans. That's we finally got the hard copies. But if you look down there, the future land use map shows that to be acre lot residential, which is what this is.
And I understand that part, but I'm still miffed with it's zoned industrial back behind them on the vast land. So does that need to be rezoned, or, I mean, it doesn't fit within in your deal, because
Yeah.
here's the thing is, we do these deals with these people all the time.
Right.
And I get it. But yet then we get condemned when someone wants to come there and do something else, because they want to put a trucking company or whatever else across the street, and then we get yelled at because they are zoned, and then they're not zoned over there. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure we're not, I'm with what you're trying to do, Monty and Sheila. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure that we're following what it is, and if the
Right.
future land deal that they went to meetings and changed that
Yep.
to, which was all industrial out that area, all the way to the airport, now it's housing. You know, is that a good fit for that?
The future land use map and the steering committee, the planning commission spent a lot of time developing that map, and everything out in that area was, everybody said housing, housing, housing over and over and over again. It was generally seen as the area south of Interstate 40 in that country club area was the number one area for if we were going to have future subdivisions or things like that. And then obviously as it goes south of Jensen Road into that acre lot residential.
And I understand that. But once again, this is kind of where we get, and I'm gonna vote for it, Monty, don't get all nervous yet. I'm all for you, but I'm kind of getting on him a little bit. My point to you is this: you don't have a lift station out there. You don't have a water line out there besides on top of the hill there. You don't have any infrastructure out there.
That's
and you
accurate.
want to do house, but there's no infrastructure out there. So that's the whole thing that kind of scares me.
Sure.
With what the plan is. Does that make
Right.
sense to you?
Right, and
So in my
absolutely.
mind, the warehousing and everything else would be in that area more so than it would be housing because of the airport and everything else.
Well, and that's one of the recommendations in the plan is to make sure that the areas that are included in here are provided with infrastructure over time.
Gotcha. All right. Any other questions? Anybody against it? I now consider the public hearing closed. We'll go on discussion, consideration, possible action, ordinance number 9235, an ordinance ratifying, reclassifying the zoning district of partial rural agriculture A1 residential RE estates at 4710 South Country Club Road, a tract approximately 3,000, I'm sorry, 300, I bet you wish it was 3,000. 3.397 acres within the northeast quarter, northeast 4, section 30, township 12, north range 7, west Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, roll call start with Smith.
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Robinson? Councilman Robinson? Vice Mayor Ballhorn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, we're going to 10. We're good to go. To conduct a public hearing, consideration request by Ray Switzer to close and vacate Clark Street, east of Rock Island Avenue, between lots 1 through 11, block 9, lots 1 through 11, block 10, the Hickox addition in the city of Reno, Oklahoma. And according to the recorded plat, therefore, close vacated North Barker Avenue, easement of block 9 and 10, the Hickox addition to the city of Reno, Canadian County, Oklahoma, according to the recorded plat, therefore. Okay, Dustin, just a second, sir. Sure. Dustin, come on. All right, basically it's with the planning commission, no problems.
There was a gentleman that came to the planning commission meeting and voiced his concern with the Barker Avenue portion. The Barker Avenue portion was platted in 1901, and deed records going back to 1902 show the legal description that would have been Barker on that person's property. It was never opened. The person has always, I guess that person has maintained it. They weren't against closing and vacating the streets, but there was a person that came and was interested in how that would be divvied up, and so that's the.
Was he satisfied?
He was. I believe so.
Okay. What was the vote of the planning commission?
7-0.
Okay, thank you, Dustin. All right. Is there anybody against? This is always better. Anybody against? Any other questions? I now consider the public hearing closed. All right, B, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve ordinance. Because you're with this deal.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ray, you strap on here. You're ready to go.
The only discrepancy I heard of what he said, the person that came in that week, he talked about maintaining it and owning that. When I bought that property like 30 years ago, that wasn't the same, as far as I've maintained it for 30 years mowing it. And now the guy that owns it now says, well, I own it up to your property line. But that's not really an issue right now, but I actually mowed that Barker Street where that's closed there, been maintaining it for 30 years.
Well,
Basically.
Well, now hang on.
If-
Now hang on just a second.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I'm not, that's another can of worms.
Well, I know, but let's discuss that then.
Because I've owned it
Then
a
hang
lot
on.
longer than he has.
Well, but now hang on. Now I'm a little, I want to be careful with this now, because you kind of got caught in this trap before you even on council.
10 grand worth.
So, before we, I don't feel comfortable voting on that. The guy, because here's the bottom line is, once we vacate the lot, the landowner, whoever owns that lot, the other one, he gets that lot, the way I understand it.
Half and half.
Half and half.
That's to the.
And then, that's between you all. Maybe we ought to get clarification from that guy before we do this.
I just want to close the public access.
Well, I understand, but what I was gonna say now, don't forget, you're not gonna use us, the city of El Reno, to gain land or anything, but when we come.
That's not an
Okay,
issue.
I wanna make sure that we're clear on this.
Okay.
Once that we vacate this land and we do this action, then this land, Roger, you make sure I'm right on this, that land is basically vacated and it goes back to separate lots on either side. So if that gentleman owns that lot up that side, he will receive half of that alley. Is that correct, Roger?
Yes.
Yes.
This is center lane, right.
That's correct.
The
He
fact was,
claims that he's gonna own the right of way all the way up to my property.
Once again, he will own up your property because you're gonna own the other half of the alley. So I just wanna make sure that you understand, because you're gonna butt properties all the way up to each other at that point in time.
Right, I
Okay,
understand.
all right. Okay.
The fact that Mr. Schweitzer maintained it for all those years, while commendable, does not give him title.
No.
Because you can't adversely possess against this.
I just gonna, and that's what I was gonna say.
I understand.
Okay, I just wanna make sure we're not, because I don't wanna get in a trap or use somebody against us or anything else.
But it still has to go,
That's
through-
not what we're here to accomplish.
it still has to go through district court. Is that
Yes.
correct, Roger?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
his remedy would be a
This is
district.
just one step. Yeah.
Not us, but I wanna make that clear on the
Well,
public
that's the
record.
next step all we can
To
do is
vacate it.
vacate it by ordinance, and then they'll have to go to district court to formally
If-
vacate
if it becomes an
prevent us-
issue.
Prevent us from reopening.
That's correct. All right. Okay. Now, don't say anything else. Now consider the public hearing closed. Now, discussion, consideration, possible action, approve ordinance number 9236, ordinance requested by Ray Schweitzer to close vacated East Clark Street, East Block, Block Island Avenue between lots 1 and 11, blocks 9 and lots 1 through 11 of block 10 of the Hickox Addition in El Reno, Canadian County, according to the recorded plat, therefore, to close and vacate North Walker Avenue, east of block 9 and 10 of the Hickox Addition in the city of El Reno, Canadian County, according to recorded plat.
So moved.
I got a motion.
Second.
Got a second. Roll call start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. We'll move to number 11. To conduct public hearing, consider a request by Jonathan Taylor to establish a conditional use permit, CUP, for the manufactured home within Rural A1 zoning district, the tract within the northwest corner, Northwest 4, Section 14, Township 12, North Range, 8 miles west of Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. I now consider the public hearing open. Okay, basically, the Taylors went to the planning commission. They want to put a trailer out here on this land.
Yes.
They got horses out there, everything else, so it went to planning commission. Is that right?
That's correct.
Was there any protests?
I had some people that came to the office or called in beforehand and said that they had issues with it, but they did not come to the planning commission
Was there any
meeting.
written protests?
There was no formal protest.
And the letters were all sent out and everything else?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, anything else from you, Dustin? All right, anybody here to speak against the property? Anybody here to speak against the property, against the action? All right, anybody? Okay, serious public hearing closed. We'll move on to
11B.
thank you, Timmy. 11B. Discussion, consideration, possible action, request of Jonathan Taylor to establish a conditional use permit for manufactured home within the rural A1 zoning district, the tract within the northwest quarter, Northwest 4, Section 14, Township 12, North Range 8, West of Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. I make a motion we approve.
Second.
You got a second? Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Motion passes. Get it out there, kiddo.
Thank you.
All right, number 12, discussion, consideration, possible action, ordinance number 9237, an ordinance, City of El Reno, amending the code of ordinances, chapter 135, adding Article 7, apiaries, declaring repealing, prohibiting for severability, and declaring an emergency. Okay, we're talking bees again. And I do love bees.
Mm-hmm.
I've helped with some of these ordinances.
Sure.
Please, you got beat up with bees. Yeah, go ahead.
So
So this helps out a little bit with the bees.
right. Generally speaking, in June of 2018, we had a zoning ordinance concerning bees that was passed. In August of 2018, we had the ordinance that's before you right now that talks about how many hives of bees, how many you can have on a property. Some specific regulations about making sure that bees, when they flock and fly out, they fly up and away from the neighbor's property before they go out, rather than just straight out. We had the president of the Central Oklahoma Beekeepers Association come to Planning Commission and spent an hour talking with us about different best practices. Long story short,
I'll do that now, Dustin. Go
long
ahead.
story short, this went to Planning Commission and City Council in 2018 and was tabled. There was never action on it. It is back here to be acted on today.
Any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion?
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Did you come up with an ordinance for that? Because I'm the one that the neighbors keep talking.
Are you the one I talked to on the
Yes.
telephone? You and I brokered a lot of deals trying to make everybody happy, haven't we?
And it's really funny because like, I don't understand how they say like they're doing all this stuff. Because literally I mow my yard about 6 feet from the beehive, never have an issue. My flat path is directly straight up, like I have trees blocking the neighbors where they're going.
Sure.
So like, and the people who do know that I have bees are the one that are calling in, and there's like, how you said, there's like 5 people calling in or more than that. There are 5 adult people living in that house. So they're keep calling and calling, and they're just, I've had an issue with them from day one.
And once again, like I told you on the phone, and you've been very nice, and you and I worked together, have we not?
Yeah.
You and I found some solutions on both sides of this.
Right.
I think the bottom line is this. You know, I'm like you, we have to have bees, regardless of what a couple people in town say, or a councilwoman. So I think we gotta have it. I think the main thing is that we're trying to protect, like I told you, the situation with your particular deal is one went over and stung a kid next door, and then one of the first responders came in and they got stung. So that's what triggered the action that we had. I'm not saying it's right, and they're your bees, I don't know what they're tagged or whatever else, I have no idea.
Yeah, because there's no way to actually tell if they're mine.
This rule doesn't, help me make sure I'm correct. This helps limit the number of hives, is that correct?
That's correct.
And helps, and it's to 3, is that correct?
It's based on the size of the lot.
Okay, I'm sorry, so. anyway.
And his are existing and will be grandfathered, you just can't add.
No, that's completely fine.
But your lot, as it still would be with 2 less hives, because you have 3 now, right?
No, I have 7.
Okay, well, you're grandfathered in because of the ordinance, but the bottom line is, the size of your lot, the way I understand it, Matt, you might help me out a little bit, I don't know, Dustin. Three, okay, so it'd be 3. So the bottom line is, that's what we're trying to do right now with this. We're trying to help bridge both people. People want to have bees in town, as long as they don't bother people, whatever else, so we can keep them and maintain them at a proper level, you know, so we don't get out of control. Then we're good. And let me defend this a little bit to you. I talked to you on the telephone. You're very knowledgeable. Like I said, you and I have had a great. I appreciate working with you. We work good together to make everybody as happy as we can.
Right.
We try to broker those deals. The bottom line is that a lot of people aren't as knowledgeable as you, or are doing first-time beekeepers, and that's what we're trying to make sure that everybody plays by the right rules and does what they say they need to do, and be up to speed to what they're doing if they're in an urban area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is the best we come up with at this point in time.
Okay. But like, so those are grandfathered in, right?
Your grandfather.
Your grandfather did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you ought to be like Mr. Swifey. Don't say
Okay,
much.
I just make
Don't say
sure,
much
because
after
like I
that.
said, the letter from the U.S. Marshals saying, or the marshals here in town said like I had to, I know you said that you dropped it.
Well, the marshals haven't been here since March, but yeah.
Okay.
We haven't done anything with it because basically there wasn't anything to it at that time, because you're covered under where you currently work. That's why we wanted to speed this process up to have this in place.
Okay.
So basically, if I would have had this in place, I could have got you, shut you down. I didn't, because we're trying to figure out everything. We wanted to get the proper people. We contacted the Bee Association. We really had done a lot of work in this.
Okay.
That's what frustrates people like me. We're really trying to do the right thing
Right.
for you and for everybody.
So where did the ordinance wording come from?
Really came from it came from us, Dustin, and then what we got off the other ordinances they have. City of Oklahoma City was kind of a template for some, I think, and then a lot of it came from the gentleman that came from the Bee Association.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's based on what you can, what was capable, not capable, compatible.
Yeah,
With the size.
reasonable size of lot based on, number of hives.
All right. I make motion to approve.
Second.
Got motion second, roll call, Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yeah. All right, number 13, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve resolution number 21004. Okay. Well, basically, we have to name the road that goes up to the two new housing divisions that what we've been calling Water Tower Road, back behind the water tower at Lake El Reno. I am proposing, I think it's a good deal. I think the people have done a great job. Mary Ashbrook and the Ashbrook Foundation and the people who served on that board have done so much for the people of El Reno and the citizens of El Reno, from either Little League or from our POTS downtown or to the reading program in Jacqueline. You and I have been firsthand of Mr. Sandage from the library. Ashbrook is absolutely synonymous with giving, caring about El Reno, and providing so much for needed people in this community. So I want to propose to you all that we name that South Ashbrook Drive. Avenue, after Miss Ashbrook, and not just Miss Ashbrook, but after the foundation and the members that served. Some of them dear friends of mine that we have worked on several projects together over the past. Gail's gone, Vivian was on there at one time, Jacqueline, and of course, Mr. Klepper now, and the Klepper, and Angela Davis. So we just think Mindy. So they just do such a great job, and they do so much for our schools and everything else. It's such a fitting tribute, in my opinion. That's why I brought it to you, to name that street after her, that beautiful Lake Road. I make a motion we name that Mary Kay or Ashbrook, South Ashbrook Avenue. Bob.
I second it.
I got a second by Smith. Roll call. Let's start with Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Walton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Jimmy, they've done a lot for the Little League, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. Couldn't do it without them.
Yep, couldn't do without them. All right, number 14, discussion consideration possible action in an agreement with Pafford EMS dispatch operation specs with the police department facility, authorize the city manager and police chief to negotiate detailed arrangements and execute and sign all documents associated to. This was in the authority. Got a motion for authority?
For authority.
I got a motion for authority. I got a second by Robinson. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson? Vice Mayor Walton?
Yep.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We're going to 15, discussion consideration action, consent assignment and assumption to contract CBGB administrator services to PCS, doing business as Cardinal Engineering. Basically, Millie, who does all our stuff, is going to merge with this company, Cardinal, and what they're trying to do is trying to set that up so we go ahead and don't drop the ball. Our next project series would be drainage project between Watt Street and Legion Park. That'll finish up that drainage area all the way. So we want to make sure Millie has the proper documents to do that, and it assigns this new company the authority to handle the CBGB.
And we have an existing contract with her for the new drainage that you see off Sunset.
Yeah.
And so basically this reassigns her new company to that contract.
Gotcha.
So that's why we got to have that so we can finish out that project. But then absolutely the next round of CDBG is to go south towards Legion Park.
Yep.
Finish that drainage way out.
I make a motion that we assign the contract.
Second.
Got a motion second. Roll call. Let's start with Robinson.
I think it was a yes.
Timmy, was that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Walton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Move on to number 16, discussion consideration possible action to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $19,098, project number K09 CBGB drainage phase 2 from London Street to Sunset. Allow Chairman Mayor to sign all documents associated there too. Basically, when we did the project, it's going really good. If you haven't noticed it, it's a major project, drainage project right there on Sunset. Looks great. There's a bridge where it turns. There's what they call scouring. And scouring happens when there's plates of metal underneath there, water pull up there. You basically get underneath that metal and kind of scour it and kind of tear it up. Right. And at some point in time, it will absolutely rot out. The water will go in their road and it will hurt the structure. So what the engineer suggested was to do what they call a top cap, and they pour concrete on top of that. They seal that scour up, and they replace that, and it helps the flow of the water go through there, and makes it flow faster through there at that point in time to get the water out.
And really, that 7-inch rain that we received 2 weeks ago exposed this issue. So that's where we caught this, and
So really, we got kind of lucky.
Got lucky.
the contractor's already in place, working, so he can go ahead and fix
It's a
it.
great project.
So we're just adding $19,098 to what they're doing anyway to let them go ahead and finish it right.
Finish it up. You get it done right, they found the problem, then you do it, and we gotta go from there.
Make a motion, we approve.
I got a motion, and a second. Roll call vote start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn. Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson. Yes. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Oh, yeah. All right, number 17, discussion and consideration possible action of downtown mural program. Okay, basically, Kent, we met with the, what I call the mural mafia, and we've met with them about probably 3 times total. Matt, does that sound about right?
The meeting started.
About 3 times, yeah.
Fires.
Yeah. Yeah, we started way before you were even involved, I think.
That's
Matt.
right.
Yeah, it was back in January,
Yeah,
February, somewhere.
yeah. So, and I do want to add, Sue Johnson brought them, and I'm going to tell you, Sue, if you don't know Sue, she did some murals here in town. She did Vices out there in Vices, and she also did some stuff for Lori and, not Brushwood, LaFoe and Andy out there at their tanks. She just does such a great job. Sue does. She brought them to us, and really it's kind of what we want to do in order to make kind of a destination for what we want to do. So basically, I'm trying to get to the item number 17. We have a thing in place where we talk to that, and you can see kind of what their schematics would be, kind of like. But basically, it's phase 1 of the mural project. It'd be 4 large murals, and then it'd also be some other graphic designs and some other things that they're trying to do. One building downtown is mine. So what we want to do is, I'll do a side deal. I'll pay for my mural because we want to do it. My wife, Alicia, and I will. White Holdings will pay for ours. So that'll still give you basically 5 murals instead of 4 for the same price. Does that make sense? So we'll pay for ours as it comes on to our deal. What they've done over the guy has it down pretty pat, and what his thought process is to basically do this project, the phase 1, and then it'll be a phase 2, and then they're gonna have kids involved in phase 2. We talk about maybe around Burger Day or around small town weekend, whatever we kind of have, or around school time. We kind of want to be around school time where we can get the arts downtown and have the local artists be a part of it. That's kind of what we want to do in order to do that and get those people involved at the point in time. So basically, the money's coming out of the hotel motel tax fund. It has to be designated to tourism and some other things, improvements. They have really had a great response in Miami, Oklahoma, and that's where I first saw them. Lindsay, I think, was at the OML conference when they did a group deal there. We saw them there at the OML in Tulsa, and then they've done the stuff in
Plaza District.
We're at Oklahoma.
The Plaza District.
Yeah, Plaza, say 13th, but 16th.
Yeah,
Plaza
16th.
District, yeah. So they've got little flyers out, and it tells about the artists and everything else. Any other questions?
So the company doing the murals would be this company?
The Oklahoma,
Or is it
It's
separate?
basically it's a 501c3, right, Matt? I mean,
I believe so, yeah, Oklahoma Mural Syndicate
it's
is who it is.
Oklahoma Mural Syndicate, they call them the Mural Mafia, but they're a 501c3. Now, the next project, they'll probably have some matching funds that they might want to bring to that, maybe at that point in time, as we get the projects going. Yes, they'll design those, they'll do all those, and they kind of do it with the artist itself.
Okay. So who gives the ideas of what the?
There's no ideas. They set this up. There's no ideas. I mean, you're hiring these people. Now, you have to make sure the landowner has to sign off on the use of the building, but what we're gonna do, Roger,
We have to get an easement
to easement to it.
to be allowed for us to do this.
We went through a similar process with the mural that is at the corner of
Very small.
66 and 81. that's always on Corky Schulte's building, and also Ed Graham had to give some grant to.
So they grant the easement, basically what they do is, they will, I'm sure that the owner will have to, the owner will probably request, you not put anything nasty on there or something like that, and there's privileges of, we're not gonna have that anyway,
Well, they-
in the
Yeah.
agreement.
They present their renderings before.
They can, and they don't have to. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that it depends on what the landowner, lets them go. And I think it goes back to the point to where, as a landowner, I'm gonna allow, I want the artist, that's the whole deal. We have some murals downtown already currently. I think there's a couple back behind Rogers and Shannon's office. No one's coming from out of town, side of town to see those. Nothing bad. This is the artist deal that they get from people from out of state, and they become a destination. And they become a deal that basically comes on Instagram, and the artist shares and everything else. So that's what this whole thing's about. That's what the whole movement's about. The Plaza District and in Miami. Is that right, man?
That's right.
That's what I understand.
And so you're aware that.
It's not, you have some murals downtown that say Main Street or Bud's Flowers or whatever else. That's not what this is about. This is about artistry and a destination to come see some local artists and some artists from out of state. Because that's what the whole thing is. They want some in town and they want some out town.
Right, and these are examples that you see. These aren't things that we've approved or anything. They just came and looked through some of our different areas, identified some walls that, they incorporate the things that are on that wall into there. I mean, for instance, if you had now they're not going to paint electrical wires, but if you had a panel or a drain pipe or something, the artists try to incorporate those into their drawing somehow. And so they just identified some that they thought would be suited. Like you see the first, we show you the welcome sign. That's kind of a jetty that sticks out of the back of one building that's very easily seen when you drive and you look down that alley. And so these were just some of the ideas they had. We've got to get approval from each property owner before we do it. We've got to get the easement signed and work through that. So this is just kind of giving us the okay to move forward with trying to get something started with phase one.
And all we're trying to do is promote downtown.
Yeah.
We got to get people downtown, and really the city has done a good job of trying. We've got the splash pad downtown. We've got the sidewalks. We've got the pots that we're getting compliments on, the flowers. There's some other things we need to do, but that's nobody else's job but the cities to do that. As far as that stuff, because that's our area. And what we did was when we went to OML, we saw where other cities basically hired these people and had contracts with them and had groups with them, and it's been successful. And what you're seeing is this is on a building, I think, in Miami.
It's a hot spot for youth to come and
Yeah.
do the picture thing. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal because it goes on Instagram. It's a whole
Yeah.
different marketing deal than what you guys are talking about.
Hey, at least it's on a gum wall.
Yeah, it's a whole different marketing deal than what you're trying to, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And this really, if we do this alley, we do it right, and I've already talked to owners down there. If I do one, then the other lady said, if I do one, she can do one. So really that puts it at 6. If I can talk 2 more people into doing it, then that puts the whole walls up to 8. So we can, if we can get this thing taking place,
And
I think you're going to
if
find
they're
that it's
receptive,
gonna be
they'll make the next one an event.
Yes.
They'll make the next one, if they can get enough walls and enough artists that they come in here on let's say a Friday through Sunday, they'll try to make an event out of it and have food trucks, that kind of stuff, so the kids can watch them painting and everything else.
And what we want to do is the city wants to be part of downtown and help facilitate some of this stuff. We want to be more of a champion for downtown. We've been accused not, but we've done a lot of infrastructure. There's more to do. I think that we need to, there's some more ideas that we come up with, that we're coming up outside the box, that we're going to do, that we're really excited about, that might change some of downtown.
I think it's important to note that the mural does depict bees, but it appears to be within the apiary ordinance.
Did you make a motion, Timmy?
Yeah.
Second, roll call, start with Smith.
Yes.
Good job.
She's more excited now.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. 18, discussion consideration possible action to remove change order number 1 in the amount of $7,001.0345, change order number 2 in the amount of $6,768.21, and change order number 3 in the amount of $698.97 for the change amount of the total amount of $381.73 to LM McNatt Construction, WL McNatt Construction for project number I-26 T Hangers Complex Construction, and allow chairman and mayor to sign all documents associated thereto.
Per authority.
I got a motion for authority. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Robinson. Roll call start with Smith. Roger.
Yes.
You turn that there.
We tried.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Ryder.
Restroom.
Mayor White.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to number 19, discussion consideration of possible action to ordinance 9234, ordinance of the City of El Reno, amending chapter 100, 175, the Code of Ordinances of the City of El Reno, amending concerning event permits, providing severability, providing for repealing declaration of emergency. Basically, what we've done here is that we're trying to
Clean it up.
clean up some of the beer, since the beer ordinances, Jackie, you and Bob understand this, since that new law came into effect, kind of changed everything else. We had the battle of the bands, the community theater, we tried to figure out, what we can do. They were kind of concerned with having it inside, so we decided to have a big block party. So they're gonna block off the whole Bickford. Another group that's coming in downtown, trying to do something great. We're working great with them. We have some really, Kristen's done a great job of getting all those stuff together. We feel real good about it. Basically, the group out of Chickasha, Interurban, is gonna cater some beer and stuff. But they're gonna have a nice little deal down there and it'd be great. And have a bunch of people downtown, have a battle of bands. I'm one of the judges, so I'm pretty excited about it. And I think we're gonna have a heck of a turnout. And the main thing is this alleviates some of the beer stuff to where the permits now that's approved by Able, when they got their license, basically will accept for us, so we don't have to come back up. Does that make sense? In Shannon, it even affects Main Street on that deal to where we don't have to come back up. Once we have that permit, it'll have to, it'll go ahead and go with the beer license only.
You're still gonna be approving the permit with the 300 counts.
I understand, over 300, I understand with both of them, that's the next item with the battle bands. But I'm talking about the beer itself will be included in that deal,
Yeah.
as long as they have their license through that.
And then this also cleans up some language in the existing event permit ordinance, title changes and things like that.
Approval process.
The approval processes, yeah. It's clean up.
So is this are they gonna have to have a fence at the end of these things or anything, or just people walk in and out as they want?
We're gonna be a little lax on some of this stuff, see how it kind of works out like other cities. I mean, the bottom line is that, we need to kind of do what other cities are doing, and we have a deal, we have a movie night that we're kind of working on, with some other things that we're trying to do, and we're trying to be kind of a little bit more lax like other cities are doing to see how it works and test the water and go from there. So make a motion, please.
Second.
We got a motion second, roll call, let's start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yeah.
Councilman Robinson. Councilman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes, discussion here, possible action amendment resolution 21.
We need a motion for emergency, Matt?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Got a motion, Timmy?
Yes.
Boy, Timmy.
Second.
I got a motion by Robinson, second by Ballhorn. Thank goodness Robinson's paying attention.
Yeah.
Roll call vote starts with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilwoman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. 20, discussion consideration possible action, amended resolution, number 21-006, resolution authorizing calling and holding a general election in the city of El Reno for the purpose of electing one elected official as council member from Ward 1, setting forth certain facts required of state law, directing that the resolution be delivered by the city clerk, Secretary of Canadian County, Oklahoma, election board, for the purpose of giving such official notice of said election.
Motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second?
You
Second.
said it very well.
Second.
Motion second? Roll call, let's start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Jackie, you gonna file that seat, ain't you?
What?
You gonna file that seat, ain't you?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve special events, alcohol beverage permit, event for interurban cheese shade and sale of wine, beer, and community theater battle of bands in downtown El Reno, Oklahoma.
We don't need to take action on this now that you've passed the able.
I just want to make sure I've read it. Okay. Then we'll go on to, number 22. Make sure you know those. All right. All right, number 22, nomination appointment of 2 members for a 3-year term set to expire April 2020 to serve as of the City of El Reno Library Board.
Woohoo!
Jackie, they're doing pretty good. You guys are doing pretty good, aren't you?
Yes.
I would like to nominate Bridget Sheffler.
Okay, got a motion for Bridget Sheffler. I'd like to nominate Chance Dayton and Dr. Alicia Oliver. So what we'll do is we'll do a roll call vote, and if you want, if there's any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, well then what we'll do is you just vote, we'll vote who you want to be on there by the last names. So we got one nomination by, who'd you say?
Sheffler, Bridget Sheffler from Pioneer Library System.
Oh, okay. Sheffler, and then Dr. Oliver, and then Chance Deaton. So I'll go first. I vote Deaton and Oliver. Ryder?
I vote Sheffler and Oliver.
Okay. Smith?
I vote Deaton and Scheffler.
Okay. Bob?
Oliver and Sheffield.
Sheffler. All right. Robinson?
Sheffler and Oliver.
Okay. So we've got Sheffler and Oliver. Okay. We move on to the next one. 23. Nomination of 2 members to the remainder of a 3-year term set to expire 2022. 2 members for a 3-year term, 23, to serve on the El Reno Park Recreation Board.
For authority.
Well, no.
Oh, no, we didn't do it. Yeah, we got to nominate them.
But here, I do have a plan for this. So you have 2 on there right now. So I gotta have 4. So Dr. Oliver's on the library board now. So if you nominate Jamie, Fred, Kirsten, and Sean, that covers your deals. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put an official deal. So I nominate, I'm gonna go backwards. Sean Kyle James and Kirsten Hayden to the terms to expire 2023. I nominate Jamie Gerard and Fred Kubrick to fill the terms of June 22. Okay. I got a second. Any other nominations? Nominations cease. We'll take a vote by acclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. I think I have the same thing worked out on the other one. Okay. Nomination appointment of 1 member for the remaining of a 3-year term set to expire 22, and then 2 members for the 3-year term set to expire 23. I only got 2 members, and we're working on a 3rd one to get the application. They didn't get the application in. So I nominate Paul King and Brad Baker, who are the current members, to finish out the Board of Adjustments, to expire June 2023. I got a second by Robinson. Any other nominations? Nominations cease. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then this one is the same deal. Let's go opposite. Nomination of current appointee with one member remaining of the 3-year term set to expire June 22nd. 2 members for the 3-year term set to expire 2023 to serve the El Reno Board of Appeals. So I'll go backwards. I'll nominate Paul King for the remainder of the 3-year to set to expire 2022. And then I nominate James Mike Murray and Tim Davison to serve the term to expire 2023. Second, roll call start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. All right. Presentation of financial reports. Marcia, I think we talked about enough about financials. All right, reports. Timmy, you got anything?
No, sir.
How you coming along with the bleachers? Are they gonna be in?
We're supposed to be in, I think, about the 25th of this month, something like that.
That's great. Looks good out there.
Concrete's done, the fence is pretty much done,
I like it.
so we're just waiting on orders.
Okay. Bob, you got anything?
Not at this time.
Ms. Smith?
No.
Tracy?
Will you talk a little bit about the road collapse on Boynton and Shetty?
Yes. We have a road collapse on Britton and Chattee, and we have cambered it. It's collapsed 30 feet into the north and 30 feet into the south. So
Just a small one.
yeah. So we cambered it. We looked at it today. The engineer report was here today. So I always come on Tuesdays. We always try to go that together just because my background on that. We're going to go ahead and go out to bid and see what that could be. So that could be one of the projects, that we picked. We're going to have to fix that. But don't forget, we have systematically fixed that thing all the way down. And that, the first estimate came back on that was $1.3 million to redo the whole thing. So we're doing a lot of that ourselves. Now, I don't know if we're going to do this one ourselves. We're going to go out to bid to see kind of where we're at. And then once we get the collapse done and we figure out where we're at in the replacement, we'll camber the rest of it down to check that out. We have a point to where it can go up and then back to the other point. So we're still going to be probably shut down for at least 30 days till we approve the contract. But the engineer was notified today. Matt notified Steve to go ahead and go out to bid. We discussed the project of what we want to do and what side of the pipe and to carry that. So that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Crazy weather makes crazy times.
It is. Okay, I don't have anything else. All right. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Now let's go to the authority and then we'll be done. Real quick. It's now 7:09. I call the El Reno Municipal Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, August 11th, 2012 to order. Roll call start with Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Chairman White.
Yes, we'll go on to new business, which finish agenda time. Are there any? Okay, if not, we'll move on to consent agenda. The following item being considered routine by the El Reno Municipal Authority. Act of one motion. One motion that I'll be removed, consent agenda, considered separately. Hey, Nate, before I go on, why don't you boys go set up in the conference room? It's burning up in here. I think the air conditioner's working here. And then I'll give you room to play all that out if you want. Okay.
It won't take long.
All right. It's burning up.
Yeah,
It's hot. All right. Okay. Remove the consent agenda. Okay. So consent agenda. Number one, approval of minutes from the July 14th, 2020. Regular meeting of the El Reno Municipal Authority. Number two, approval of budget amendments for fiscal year 2020-21, ending June 30th, 2021. Number three, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning July 1st, 2020, and ending July 31st, 2020. I got a motion approved.
Second.
Got a second. Roll call start with Ryder.
yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. Move on to discussion items. Discussion, consideration, and possible action with respect to resolution number 21008, a resolution authorizing the City of Reno Municipal Authority, the authority to issue a sales tax revenue note, the Series 2020, the note, an aggregate principal amount of $10 million, and waiving competitive bidding process, and authorizing the note to be sold as negotiable basis to ratify the conforming sales tax agreement between the City of Reno, Oklahoma, and the city and the authority pertaining to the year-to-year pledge of certain sales tax revenue, approving authorization, execution of supplement note, indenture, authorizing the assurance of the security of the payment of the note, providing that organizational documents creating the authority and subject of the provisions of the note, indenture, authorizing, directing, and execution of the note, and other documents associated with their transaction, approval of the authority of an escrow deposit agreement establishing the authority's reasonable expectations with respect and assurance to the sales tax exempt obligation by the authority in the year 2020 and designating the note as a qualified tax exempt obligations, approving professional services agreements and containing other provisions related thereto.
Per council?
I got a motion per council. Do I have a second?
This is a separate resolution.
Same principle.
Okay. Motion to approve.
I got a motion approved.
How's that?
Second.
We got a second. Roll call vote start with Smith.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn?
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yep.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you all.
All in favor?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're done.